Okay, good day to you. Good day to our audience, regardless of your time zone. I am very excited to greet you during the Why Are Women in Data Science discussion panel, and it is my honor to start by a very short award ceremony. So YR since 4 years is awarding scholarships, not scholarships, but supporting grants for exceptional female data scientists in Poland. And this year we had absolutely, we are absolutely flooded by amazing, outstanding candidates. So we decided, and it was possible thanks to the support of our sponsors, thanks to the support of the Pearson, we were able to found not two as usual, but three supporting grants. So let me introduce three exceptional data scientists. Katarzyna Sidorczuk, Maja Jabłońska, Agnieszka Mikołajczyk. All three gathered the attention of the grant committee by their contributions both to the data science itself, but also to the community. So Kasia, Maja, Agnieszka, let's introduce yourself, and we will start with Maja.
Hello, everyone. First, I am really happy to be here, and thank you very much for awarding me. I am finishing my master's studies in astronomy, and data science nowadays can be a really big part of any science field. So I do consider a very big part of my work to be data science as well. And also, I had the honor of being a project leader in this year's ML in Pell conference, which focuses on machine learning and all the connected topics. So I am really doing my best to also share the knowledge and organize events and help the community. Also, the community on my university. I am also looking forward to organize a university course just for data science in astronomy, since, yes, this is really a big part of any science, actually. So it's really great to see these fields accelerating and being so powerful, so impactful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maja. And Agnieszka?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this award. I'm really happy to be here also. Currently, I am a PhD student at Gdańsk University of Technology. I'm doing my PhD thesis. Actually, I'm writing my last chapters now, so I hope soon I will be finished. I'm also a principal investigator in my grant Preludium. It's about mitigating and identifying bias in data. And during my free time, I love to contribute to the data science community and machine learning community. Last year, I organized project Detect Waste, and 9 women from Poland took part into developing the solution to detect waste in videos and images. And we even published a paper about that. Just last week, we got the news. It was accepted with impact factor over 7, so pretty nice journal. This year we are also doing a new project. It's called Here AI. It's for recognizing sign language from videos, and we are working on that now with women in AI and women in machine learning and data science. So I'm really happy about that and very excited. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Agnieszka. Thank you for your contributions. And last but not least, Kasia.
So first of all, I would like to thank the WIRE Foundation for this initiative and possibility to be here. So my name is Katarzyna Sidorczuk. I'm a PhD student at the University of Wrocław in Poland. I'm interested in bioinformatics, especially in use of machine learning for prediction of protein localization and peptide properties, such as antimicrobial or anti-cancer activity. I'm also working on tools for analysis and prediction of bacterial adhesins. There are proteins that allow bacterial attachment to host cells, so they are promising targets for novel treatments. Moreover, I am a member of Wrocław R User Group, which organizes meetings in the form of workshops or lectures for R enthusiasts. And thank you very much again.
Kasia, Agnieszka, Maya, once again, congratulations. We deeply appreciate your efforts, and to all females in data science in our audience, our supporting grant is awarded annually. So if you want to apply, check the terms and terms on our site. And we are positive that next year we will start with the next edition. I think 5th edition of our grants. So thank you very much once again. And now I want to give the lead to Dani Casol. When I contacted Dani about sharing the data science about this panel, I was quite anxious if she would accept. She is quite established data scientist working in academia with a lot of contributions to our community. Fortunately, she accepted. So Dani, thank you very much, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michal, for the invitation. I'm super happy to be here today with you. And then I would like to start to say welcome to our panel discussion today on women and data science. And then I guess I'm going to discuss how we can increase the diversity and promote inclusion in data science. So thank you very much for joining us today. So as Miha said, my name is Dani Casol, or Daniela Casol, and I am from Brazil, but I am located in the US right now. But actually I'm from a very small countryside town in Brazil called Vanini. I need to advertise my city. And then I received my bachelor's degree in biology from the Federal University of Pelotas. And then later on, I received my master actually in plant physiology. So it's far away from computer science and data science, even though I guess I agree every science needs to work with data. And then later on, I moved to Rio de Janeiro, and then I received my PhD in genetics from the Federal University of Rio. And then after that, I actually joined here, the University of California, Riverside, where I am right now. That was in the end of 2017 as a postdoctoral researcher. So, and I'm still working here with developing software for bioinformatics. So also I am the co-founder of two our latest chapter, one here in Riverside and the other one in a city called São Mateus in Brazil. And then I am part of the community board at Bioconductor as well. So I am honored to be here today with four amazing and inspired women in this panel who talk to us this morning, for me, I don't know, afternoon or evening, depending where you are. So we'll talk about their experiences in data science. So thank you, you four, for joining us today. And I have to say that I have been very excited just to get into here a little bit about your host as we prep for this panel. And I am really grateful to the opportunity to share some of your insights to the broader community today. So with that said, I'm going to jump right in the first question. I don't know, I guess you can, I would choose Dr. Vanessa to start. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, a little bit about your story, and then why you pursued a career path related to data science. And if you want to mention, if you had a mentor, who was your mentor?
Yeah, thank you very much for the kind introduction and in general for the invitation to speak here today. So my name is Vanessa, and I am actually a trained analytical chemist, now turned biochemist in my postdoc. I am originally from Germany. I did my PhD in the US at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And as of last year, I am here in Warsaw, Poland, at the EMOL Institute. So, so far there isn't a lot with data science in particular, so I'm not a trained data scientist, but as we now heard multiple times before, there is a lot of different scientific fields where data science comes into play. And so I work in my day-to-day work mostly with mass spectrometers who generate a whole bunch of data. So basically a mass spectrometer allows you to analyze all the different molecules that are in a given sample, such as a blood sample, based on their molecular weight of all the different molecules in there. So you can imagine that there is tens of thousands of different molecules in these samples. And so there's a whole bunch of data that's being generated. In addition, I was working with some genomic data, which is even bigger, it turns out. And so in order to really grasp what that data would mean on a biological level, I had to turn to some kind of programming or coding to work with that. And so thankfully I had the opportunity to take some classes in my PhD program, like introduction to programming with Java and things like that. But one of the things that really changed my approach, I would say, to this was a data carpentry course I was able to take. So data carpentry courses, I can talk a little bit more about it later, but they're basically 2-day courses that are very, very hands-on, where you can really get started on handling data. And so for this reason and others, I am still mostly working in R. And so upon returning to Europe and coming to Poland, I realized that there should also be these data carpentry workshops here for other people to learn. And since there weren't currently any offered, I decided to become a certified instructor this year and co-taught my first workshop this past June. So this has been really fun. Being able to see in myself basically the progression from somebody who is a natural scientist and is interested in learning how to program to being able to give this knowledge back to others, and showing them that you do not need a proper 10-year coursework to be able to do something useful for your scientific questions. So along the way there have of course been many different mentors. But some that I want to point out are Sarah Stevens, who was very involved with the data carpentry workshops back in Madison, as well as Dr. Katie Overmeyer, who was a postdoc in my PhD lab, who was also using R a lot, and just seeing them struggle and seeing them always being open to sharing how they overcome these struggles has been really encouraging when you find yourself in some kind of struggle. So looking forward to getting to know everybody else here and to everyone's questions.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. So I don't know, Kyla?
Yeah, thanks for having me as well. I'm also really happy to be here. I'm Kyla McConnell. I'm a PhD student in Germany at the University of Freiburg. I did my undergrad in the States, actually, North Carolina, but I've been in Freiburg for a little while now. And I'm doing my PhD in linguistics, which maybe doesn't sound like a data science heavy field, but is quickly becoming one. And so we do a lot of behavioral psycholinguistic experiments with reaction times, sort of reading paradigms, or we look at EEG data for reading studies, for example. And at some point I realized I was kind of becoming a copy-paste data scientist, and I decided that I should invest more time in this. So together with a colleague of mine, Julia Müller, we started first a small group at our university for other linguists to learn statistics. And then we got involved with Our Ladies. So now we co-organize Our Ladies Freiburg. which we mostly do events online, usually twice a month. And we're also recently got involved with co-organizing another similar group for a different programming language, which is Julia Gender Inclusive for the Julia programming language. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the panel.
Did you have any mentors?
Yeah, so I have my advisor, so my PhD advisor, Dr. Alice Blumenthal-Ramé is one of my mentors personally and professionally. And I'm always inspired by the people around me. So the other people who run Our Ladies chapters, for example, the Our Ladies community, I don't think maybe that can't count as a mentor, but and of course my co-organizer, Julia Muller, is a great mentor / peer.
Thank you. Dr. Hedia?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. So I'm Dr. Hedia Tnani. I'm originally from Tunisia, where I studied like engineering in plant protection. Then I moved a lot, actually. So then I moved to Spain, to Zaragoza, to do my master's degree in plant breeding. And after that, I did a PhD at the University of Barcelona in biotechnology and genetics. So I didn't know about the exciting world of programming until moving to the Philippines, where I did a postdoctoral, actually a postdoc there at the International Rice Research Institute. I've been there for almost 4 years. And then, so I discovered that to analyze my data, you know, it's like I needed to know how and to learn programming. You know, it's like you can't use Excel anymore. Excel, yeah. And then, yeah, I had actually, so I asked my colleagues and they told me that there was a programming language called R. At first, you know, I was so surprised, like what R, what does it mean? You know, it's like I did in Tunisia, yeah, we didn't study like programming or R. And then I had the chance there, you know, it's like to meet people and bioinformatician, exciting scientists also, and inspiring ones that helped me, you know, to get, to start, you know, using R and to understand the logic behind this programming language. So many times, you know, when you struggle like with an error and you stay like for 2 weeks with the same error, and it was so frustrating, you know, it's like, how can I solve it? And now I don't know, it's exciting, you know, when I have error, how I can solve this error and how I can find the solution, because it's like playing. Now programming for me is like playing. Let's, you know, let's play together, you know, it's like R is my, you know, it's like, yeah, let's play together and then I will find the solution. It's really challenging for me. And then, so after, yeah, so I started learning programming, R mainly in the Philippines, also to analyze my data. And then after the Philippines, I came back to Tunisia, where I was, yeah, so for me, it was obvious that I had to learn data science, programming, and to improve my knowledge. So I had to take a master's degree in big data. And then I was also a postdoctoral, you know, fellow at Pasteur Institute of Tunis. So I was at the laboratory of bioinformatics, biostatistics, biomathematics, and bioinformatics. And there, so I started working, yeah, as a bioinformatician, so mainly with R, but then I started, yeah, with during also, actually I was working and studying at the same time. And yeah, and I was learning Python also. So I was, after R, I learned some Java, I learned, yeah, Python. And then I was, you know, it's like so amazed with all the possibilities that programming and that R, you know, it's like, it's a new world, exciting world for me. So when I came back to Tunisia, yeah, I was looking for people to start like this new adventure of our ladies, because I was seeing, yeah, it's like our ladies everywhere. And then, so in 2020, we started Our Ladies Tunis, which was an amazing opportunity and adventure with, you know, it's like 2 other amazing ladies, and our ladies, people, yeah, really passionate about this like programming language. And after when, well, then I will explain more. So with the R ladies, I was leading the R for bioinfo. So we started also like series, the R for bioinfo. And then, so now I'm at the CRG as a visiting postdoctoral fellow and in Barcelona. And then I co-founded also Tunis Our User Group and Pi Ladies Tunis. So it's like I say that, you know, when you start programming, you can stop. You know, it's like it's like, I don't know, it's not a disease, but it's really amazing. So yeah, that's about me, and I'm really happy to be here to talk about my experience, because, you know, when I started, I was doing like wet lab, you know, experiments, and then now I moved to the dry lab. Sometimes it's not easy because, yeah, you have to make the transition, you know, to learn. And I'm really happy when I saw, like, I attended many times, you know, to other Our Ladies chapters and what they are organizing. I think they see my name everywhere, you know. It's like whenever I could attend to learn, because for me, the most important thing is learning, you know. It doesn't matter what's your background, because you are willing to learn and to improve yourself. So thank you again for the invitation. About mentors, so I think I had many mentors, mainly, you know, the people I was working with in the Philippines who were, as I said, bioinformatician, and I was asking them so many questions, bothering them, you know, all the time with my mails. And then, you know, it's like my colleagues at Pasteur Institute of Tunis, and here also at the CRG, where I have great colleagues. So yeah, these are my mentors. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I guess I agree with like 100% what you said. I identify myself in everything you said. So, but one of the things I want to highlight is the community. I guess the community is really, really good to reach out, to get the answers, to get the help. So it's really important. So Ipek?
Hello, and thanks for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here and hear your passion about data science as a pure biostatistician. So I was really happy to hear you that you are actually coming from diverse careers, and your passion about data science. And so I'm Ipek Guler. Now I work as a biostatistics consultant in Catholic University of Leuven in Belgium. I'm originally Turkish, and I lived for many years in Spain. And then now I'm located in Belgium. So yeah, I'm a pure statistician, mathematician. So I started my career in Turkey. I started my studies in Turkey. I had a statistics degree, a bachelor's degree in statistics, and I didn't like it at all. And then during my bachelor degree, actually, I was the missing thing there was actually the motivation and knowledge of what is for statistics, data analysis, and data science. So yeah, I was seeing applications and seeing the importance of all calculations of theoretical lessons that we are taking. So that's why I was not motivated at all for my future career, actually. So the key point was I moved to Spain, and I started my master degree in the University of Santiago de Compostela, and I focused on biostatistics classes in my master degree. And just when I started to my master degree, I also started to an internship in the University Hospital of Santiago de Compostela. And there came my passion in medicine and in biology applications of data analysis. So there I really fell in love with statistics and data analysis. And I decided to continue my career and I had my, I started my PhD between University of Santiago de Compostela and University of Belgium. And then I worked as a consultant, because also consultancy is one of my passion, because every project that I have, there are so many diverse topics and from different medical departments, different biomedical projects. So I'm really feel passionate about learning about medicine also. And yeah, I also love to somehow to get some response and results to their research questions. And so I worked as a consultant in Biomedical Research Institute of Cordoba, and now I'm working as a biostatistician in Catholic University of Leuven. Yeah, my mentor, who actually changed my mind and changed my life, also was my supervisor, my master thesis supervisor, also my PhD co-director, which is Carmen Cadarza Suarez from University of Santiago de Compostela. And she mentored me a lot in biostatistics, because she also she was one of the pioneers in Spain that built up a very important biostatistics network community in Spain. So it was I was very lucky to work with her.
Thank you so much. So I guess we can go around in the same order. And the next question is, how to increase, how are the opportunities, in your opinion, and the challenges for unrepresented genders in data science?
Yeah, so I guess I can go first. I do think that there has been especially some particular challenges in the past. I do think that we're more and more overcoming them, but I think one of the things I'm very passionate about is that first step for people to take to get into data science. And for that, they have to believe in themselves that they could do it, that this is like a feasible thing. As I said, of course, if you decide to study computer science or data science right away, then there may be other particular challenges with that. But I'm particularly talking about people who could benefit from it because they work with a lot of data, but they tend to, for example, defer to a colleague to do that particular coding or programming requiring part of the project. And so that is where I would say the strength of us comes in again, in what we also mentioned many times, like all of the panelists here, I would say, are very active in their communities and have started initiatives and things like that. And so I think this is one of the ways that we can overcome this barrier that underrepresented genders face, in particular in entering this field in the first place, is by lowering this barrier, being role models. So being out here today, one of the reasons why I was very glad to accept this is just to give some visibility, like, yes, it is possible to do that if you want to. Like, there's nothing stopping you, even if you feel like your university career is already behind you. It's not too late to learn this. And I actually think it is the easiest to get into it if you already have research questions of your own that are very specific that you're trying to answer. And so I'm very happy to be able to teach in the data carpentry workshops for that reason. I'm also have a high school intern right now, and we're doing a project in Python. So that's also something I don't use very often. So I'm also learning a lot from her while we're doing that. But I'm particularly passionate about overcoming this challenge of getting into it and feeling like you can do it and giving that confidence back. And so I think that's, one of the biggest challenges, but that we also have the resources to help overcome.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, and maybe I'll just build off of that. So I think this is a really great point that we should be trying to make this barrier as low as possible. And I think that our community does a really great job with this. So this, even in comparison to similar programming languages, I think R generally has a lot of very accessible materials, not just for beginners, but also for more advanced users. And a lot of these materials are free, they're online, they're easily accessible. And I think this has been a really conscious choice by the R community to put things out there in a way that anyone can access and to make it as easy as possible to get interested or get involved with these types of topics, regardless of your gender. But of course, I have quite a love for R ladies as a group, and I think that's also one of the main opportunities that are out there for learners of R. And now with the pandemic situation, a lot of that stuff has been moved online, which is actually even more of an opportunity, I think, for people to get involved and to learn and network with others from wherever you're at and wherever they're at. Yeah, so maybe that's more a little bit towards the opportunity side, but that's where I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Vanessa and Kyla. There are so many, if you want to learn data science and bioinformatics, and even if you come like me from the wet lab and you want to, to make the transition, there are so many like materials, R ladies, it's like you connect just, it's like have a seat and, it's like spend time, but, be willing also to ask questions, you don't have like to be ashamed about asking questions or to say that, you have, you struggle, it's like, because, it's like when we started like programming, everyone struggles at first, but then it's like when you ask questions and it will be easier. And also the carpentries, I've been also actually attending, and I've been also mentor, and it's amazing the teaching material and the facilities and the great mentors, that, it's like you have nowadays. So it's like even in internet, you can learn by yourself. And the most important thing, as I say always, is the first step. When you decide, it's like, okay, I want to learn something, the most difficult is I want, but then it's like, that you want, then everything will be easier, and with all the material that you have online, and so it's really easy. Thank you. So for me,
I'm also
everyone can be a data scientist if you want, it's like, as Vanessa said, you have to believe in yourself. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also about accessible, and especially Kyla mentioned that is nowadays with the pandemic, it's getting more accessible and great to have access to all the courses, interesting courses. What I would like to add is that in our field, it's really, as we can see in this panel also, we have a multidisciplinary field, and it opens the door for diversity and so on, because we have to respond one research questions we can respond it actually with different approaches and from different fields, from different point of views. So it's really great actually for diversity, and it's for in every sense. And I think one of the opportunities and one of the advantages in our field is this. And I also, as Vanessa told, I also really give importance to dissemination in young people, and to give the access and the dissemination to all those, translate our research to the young people. And then there we have the actually we have them. So it was really nice to hear that Vanessa is working with high school students and making a project. So these kind of things really opens the door for everyone.
Thank you. So the next question will be in the same line, I guess, because I would like to ask you how to increase the diversity in data science, and how you encourage more unrepresented genders to pursue data science career.
Yeah, I think I touched a little bit upon this earlier, but I think besides just visibility and representation, the people that are already in the field can also shape the future of the field, I would say. So I personally believe that collaboration is something that could still increase a lot more. Like we're working together a lot when we're learning these new things, such as, online, as we just heard, there's a lot more possibilities, but then even in working together on projects and coding together and having code review meetings to discuss what's going on and things like that. Like I personally think that's a way we can push the data science community more into. And of course, that's something you can locally do with your projects. And that's also a great way of including others at various levels of such projects. So I think that is a strength maybe of the more traditionally underrepresented genders that we can harness to be more inclusive in the future.
Yeah, I also think, I agree with that. I also think that maybe a conversation that's going on in a lot of fields right now, and especially in data science, would be a wider understanding of different structures of privilege and also how they might intersect. So there's obviously there's gender-based privileges in the way the world is, but there's also other privileges as well. And I think it's important for everyone to be aware of the privileges that they do have, whether it's from the language that they speak or where they live or how they look, how they present themselves. And I think that we need to have more conversations about that, all of us, and kind of how those interplay and how that might come out in discussions or in partnerships, also, of course, in hiring and in the work environments. So I think there is some work to be done there, but it definitely goes hand in hand with a lot of other forms of diversity raising that we can do in the field.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then also when you see like a role model, it's like you have more women in data science, then it's like even the new generation or like underrepresented gender, they want to like learn also data science. I want, it's like for me, well, I'm from Africa, and when I was young, I couldn't have this, it's like the opportunity to have to see like a great woman, it's like from Africa being a data scientist, or, it's like, and then now well, I see many women and I want to be like them. So I think it's encouraging, it's like diversity and also mentorship. So mentorship, diversity, and to see like more like women in data science will help a lot. Thank you.
The representation.
Yeah, the representation.
Yeah, I was actually also going to say the consistent mentorship from ladies and from women, or so for the diversity, actually we should begin with a very young age, actually, to be as a role model and show them role models. And then I think there should be a consistency in there as a mentorship. And there are like, I really like the mentorship programs, these working programs, working groups of our ladies and so on. So these are really important to get involved. People that feel underrepresented, and then create a mentorship program, and then being a role model invites very successful people to show them as a role model. So.
Thank you. So the next question, actually, I'll mix the question I had here with some questions we already are receiving for the audience. So I would like to ask, like, if you have a kind of advice to give someone, which I guess most of the people here are in that situation where it's just like you had one path and then you decide to change, to move towards data science, because as we said, I guess everyone needs to work with data. And then if you, what critical skills do you judge to be fundamental, like this independent of the domain or the field? So what is the programming and the basic skills you think is important? And then also someone asked us, how important do you think is a degree in advancing in data? So if you think that is important.
Yeah, so I can't speak directly to like what you would need for a position in purely data science, but in general, I want to say that if you want to get more into the field, then it's definitely a good idea to start out with some kind of structured course in some kind of language. It doesn't even need to be R, just so you understand how programming languages work in general. I would compare it to learning a new language, a new spoken language, like maybe English is a second language for me. So like, just like it's learning English, you can approach learning programming like that, and then it is easier to learn other programming languages once you understood how in general this works. And as I touched upon previously, I think it's very helpful if you already have a research question in mind that you think programming could help you answer, because then you can go with your own data set through the different steps of learning how to manipulate it and so on. I want to emphasize that I think it is important to have some kind of structured introduction, and this can be a self-led online course, of course. But I think if you start the right habits from the beginning. And with that, I'm talking about commenting your code for yourself, doing version control, testing your code for all kinds of different possibilities and so on, then I think it's going to be a lot easier for yourself also to build upon that going forward and really make that something useful and not just something you dabbled in and then you kind of like forgot what you were even doing. So I think probably if you're thinking about going in that direction, you already have very good reasons to want to do that. And so if this is your passion, like if this is coming from the inside that you think I would like to learn this and I would like to keep agency over my own data because I can analyze it myself and draw the conclusions I want to and go in the analysis direction I want to, then just follow that. You can do that. And you probably already have a lot of knowledge over your own data that will help guide you in the direction that will be the right direction for your data and project.
Yeah, I agree that having a research question or something that you're already working on is also a really great place to start. And maybe I'll speak a little bit to those who might be coming from maybe academic backgrounds, but ones that are not necessarily STEM related backgrounds, such as myself. One advice I'd give there is to always act like you know a little bit more than you do, because you probably do. You just have imposter syndrome voice in your head saying, no, you're not from a tech field, so you probably didn't get that right. But to always kind of try to be as confident as possible with what you can do. But in addition to that, so something that has helped me is to always keep an eye on kind of what's kind of up and coming, or so both keeping an eye on things like job descriptions and what kind of skills are actually being looked for out there, but also doing things like checking out our Twitter community, for example, so you can be up to date on package updates or people's opinions on different ways to do the same thing. Those are two things that have benefited me in my journey. But yeah, and as to the skills that I think are necessary, regardless of your direction, your specific direction, I'm always a big fan of telling people to get into data wrangling. So not just the modeling, not just the machine learning and the those sorts of things, but actually the pre-steps to get your data in the right format to be able to do all sorts of transformations and things like that in your data. So that's my personal passion.
Yeah, and don't be afraid, it's like, because learning a language sometimes, it will take time. It's like talking a new language. So don't be afraid if it takes longer than other people, and don't be afraid of, struggling and making mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. So go ahead. There are so many materials, it's like on YouTube. And this summer, for example, in Tunisia, we started teaching programming for teenagers, from 15 to 17, and they were really enjoying it. But then, it's like doing small exercises, like about genes, ACGT, and then changing. And then, with small exercise, sometimes we learn a lot, like merging, joining. And yeah, so go ahead and believe in yourself and learn. That's my advice. And don't say I can do it, it's like, because if you think that you can do it, you can't. But if you think that everything is possible, you can, it's like even your limitation, it's like, it's like challenge yourself. That's, my advice. Challenge yourself and have, it's like more confidence on yourself.
I'm totally agree with the really good advices, but also I will repeat this advice from a point of view as a pure biostatistician, actually, because if you're in another field and want to get into data science, data analysis, it's important to start with your research questions, indeed, because it's a really huge world, the data analysis techniques, novel techniques, so on. And so indeed, you have to focus on your research questions and your research field. And also for people who want to have from the beginning a data analysis, data scientist career from the beginning, it's also very important. Kyla mentioned that it's important, the data management, actually, like before modeling, before the analysis. And I would like to highlight after analysis part, which is also challenging for us as pure mathematicians and biostatisticians, because we have to translate our results and work to other fields, to the researchers from very different fields. And sometimes we use really complex methods, complex analysis, and to translate it, they sometimes, that's, for example, why don't you use just a t-test? Why we don't use some simple techniques, and I can understand. So it's really important after analysis to translate, and the importance of your methodology that you use, translate it to their field, to their language. So apart from the technical skills, I would really recommend to those who are really coming from the mathematical background and wants to be a data scientist, also I would recommend to encourage them to get the skills of translating the results, results interpretation, and so on.
I would say that is very, very important. I will go touch two things here about the reproducibility. So Vanessa said you should comment your code and you organize in version control, and then also what you said to translate the knowledge the data is providing to the world. I guess that those things, it's important to have that in your project, and then very, very defined in your project, because that not only will help yourself in the future, but then also that will contribute to with the community. And then one other thing I would like to say here is you all here said it's important to have your research question, right? But if someone doesn't have that in this moment and it still wants to start in data science, I guess you can pick a project. There is so many hackathons or examples, so I guess that will help you to dive in one question. I guess that is still very important, but you can pick one. You don't need to be your research question, but like pick a project or an example. There are so many examples online to you to see, to have a guide to go through this process. I guess that's the what I would like to add here.
I will add something about Kaggle. You know, I've been learning a lot like with Kaggle. It's like downloading the data and then saying to myself, okay, what can I have from this data? You know, it's like exploring the data. And also, as you said, you have hackathons, you have Kaggle, you have so many ways to learn data science if you're not like doing, or if you don't have, you know, it's like a research question or data. So it's amazing nowadays what you can, how you can learn and what you can learn from like all these matters.
Maybe I can also add one more thing, because I think that's a really great point. Like if you have the time and you want to showcase what you've learned without having a degree or a certificate, then it would also be a really great idea to, for example, write a blog post or something similar. And that can even be about a very accessible topic, such as a TV series or food or sports or, you know, whatever you're into that isn't, you know, exactly maybe a research question that you have to do for your job. And one of the things that R is also really great with, and that's, I would say, a lot of fun, is visualizations. So that, you know, that's a great way of exploring data in terms of visualizations and putting it out there and having something to show for when, for example, you're applying for your next position.
Yeah, I totally agree, because you can have your entire portfolio on GitHub, for instance. And yeah, so we only have around 4 minutes to go. And I really want to thank you for this incredible discussion. And I guess really quick, because only we have a few minutes, I would like to say, you mentioned many times about mentorship. So maybe Ipek, you can mention, you mentioned a couple of times about mentorship. So maybe you can give a recommendation or a tip, how advice how to find mentorship in data science, and like how you look for mentors in data science.
Yeah, this is an important point indeed. For example, yeah, well, actually, we have a biostatistics network in Spain, and we do a mentorship program. We organize a mentorship program so that the students can reach us and also to the professors, and you as a mentor, you also apply for it and ask for it. So I think some work groups, networks, local networks can organize a mentorship program and then disseminate it to the young people, master students and bachelor students, to say that, okay, we have that program and you can just apply for it, and then create a network. Because also, for example, in our case, we have, I'm as a mentor, I have mentoring someone, but also we are as mentors, we have some meetings together, and we get together to just discuss how to do it properly, and we learn from each other for each experiences. So this is also an important point, and create some mentorship program network would be important. And to look for it, actually, it's not easy, but if we as communities, local works groups organize some mentorship programs, it will be great it will be very accessible and for everyone.
I want to add also that now if you're using R, it's like for bioinfo, Bioconductor also is offering, there's a mentorship program, which is really, really amazing. So you can have your code and they can help you to have, it's like to make your packages and to improve your code. So sometimes it's really important to have mentors to look at your code and have, tell you like tips or how you can improve your code and how, so you learn from each other. So it's really important, like this kind of mentorship program. And now Bioconductor offers this kind of opportunities.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because I am part of the community board in Bioconductor. So thank you for mentioning that. And then I guess I would like to say one thing. Don't be afraid to reach out to the people. So if you reach out, you see this whole model, you follow this person and you're afraid to contact. Don't be afraid to do that. Contact the person. Probably they will respond, and if they are really busy, they can point to you to a path, a direction. So I guess that would be my advice, is like, because I'm always afraid, like you think like, oh, this is a very important person you follow, is like, in Instagram and Twitter, all the places, and then you're afraid to do that, right? But don't be, and then reach out to the people. So I guess we are on time. And again, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here today. Honored to learn about you. And thank you so much.
Folks, thank you very much for being here. Dani, especially to you, for that was really amazing sharing of the panel, and I really enjoyed listening to your discussion. And we know from the chat that actually they also did. So I want to especially express my gratitude to Jonelle Dikov VR. I'm sorry, Jonelle, if I'm butchering your name. Sorry, but we had a lot of very helpful people on the chat at actually answering questions, discussing, and so on. And I want to express gratitude for Jonelle for putting the site of for giving us the link to the Our Ladies webpage, when actually you have like your own Our Ladies chapter starter pack. So I at least that this is my impression, that we had a few questions about starting your own Our Ladies chapter. So I hope that with this suggestion that would be quite easy. So once again, to our panelists, to our chair, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for sharing with us your great experiences. Thank you very much, lastly, for finding time to join our panel, finding time and energy to discuss together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So right now we have I think 30-minute break, and then we are returning to the YR. Stay tuned, or just and return to our YouTube channel in 30 minutes. Goodbye, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
That was a blast. Thank you very much. I like it so much.